You know, I always be thinking I could bust my goddamn note too. Now, and don't sleep on my note.
Hey,
Yeah,
look, like
yeah,
we
yeah,
say,
yeah.
it's a powerful thing when you sing your own song because you can't
Mm-hmm.
sing it
You're right
wrong.
about that, brother. Can't
Yeah,
nobody sing that motherfucker like you. You put me on that game.
for real. I remember that song, watching you, watching ladies walk by, watching you.
Watching you go by.
You know what I mean? I was jamming to that, and I said, you know what? He really can't sing, but I'm trying to sound like him.
Yeah,
And at
yeah,
that moment,
exactly.
it dawned
Exactly.
to me: just
Yeah,
sing.
wow. Yeah.
If somebody real and they feel it, they gonna sing like you. So sing your song. It ain't
Yeah,
wrong.
we ain't even worried about the background right now, man, because I ain't gonna go through all that. But yeah, man, that's crazy. It's a powerful thing to sing your own song. And really, what I realized, everybody can sing. You just don't sound like you want to sound. You don't sound like the next man. So
Come on.
I never liked my voice because it reminded me of Keith Sweat. I want to tease you. And I'm a big, tall guy, so I want to sound like Christopher Will. Don't wake me. I'm dreaming. I want to sound like what's that nigga from Secret Garden, James Ingram? Your secret garden. Ooh, I want to sound like that. But here I come out. I want to tease you. But man, while we're talking about that, let's talk about that for a second, man. I had this epiphany when I was younger, and I realized, now this is just me. You tell me what you think, and we'll talk about it. I always say every man is just a different version of 3 or 4 men that he looked up to. What you think
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah. I think that's true. I think it's true. Everybody inspired by somebody, whether you subconsciously know it or not.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a second. It's crazy because one of mine was Marvin Gaye. I
Yeah.
always been musically inclined as a kid, and people always told me I looked like Marvin Gaye. Even when I was a kid, when I had no beard, if I shaved my mustache and chin piece off, women be like, "Boy, you look like Marvin Gaye. You look like Marvin Gaye." So Marvin Gaye has always been one of mine because I was inspired by his music. Uh, Dr. Martin Luther King, because I was inspired
Yeah.
by a nigga that just dreamed that big and said, I'm a motherfucking try to do some shit. The older I get, the more I see him as, not as heroic as, but he made moves.
Yeah.
Let's go with Marvin Gaye, Martin Luther King, Muhammad Ali, because I just like the fact that he talked shit and stood on it and gave up his championship not to go to the war. And then there was a pastor I had named Pastor Andy. So those 4 men are, if you put me together, and I can't forget my grandfather because a lot of stuff I say is like my great grandfather. So those 5 men, if you was to see those 5 men and push them all into one guy, that's who I'm trying to be.
That's
I
deep.
consciously know exactly who I'm trying to be like. Can you think of the 3, 4 guys or 5 guys or whoever that you're trying to emanate in life?
Man, this deep right here. Hey,
I'm
look, I
serious. I
swear
know
this ain't
exactly who
rehearsed,
I'm
man.
trying to be like. That's why I said I hit you with something different. Because
Uh,
when I
uh,
said I want to sing like somebody else, I said, damn, that made me think about that. As a man, how often do we pay tribute to who we are acting like, who we got our style from, who we got our swagger from, who we trying to emulate? As a man, how often we do that? So I'm asking you right now on the spot, do you know consciously? Subconsciously, you might not know, but I'm asking you, do you consciously know the men in your life, or it ain't got to be celebrities. Like I said, I got a
yes,
couple of
yes,
regulars, a
yes,
couple of
yes,
celebrities.
yes.
But do you know who you're
Through
trying to emulate?
through different stages of life. Like I give an example. I A lot of it came from grandma house. Man, I talk so much about grandma house because that's where we was exposed to the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
At
yeah, yeah.
grandma house. So like I remember my cousin took me to the barber shop for the first time, my big cousin. And I sat in there and I watched this dude named Rodney cut hair. And it was like he was the coolest dude I ever saw in my life. I didn't know him, but everybody respected him. And that was one of the real reasons that I just was fascinated to say, I'm going to learn how to cut hair because I want to stand in the position that man was standing in. And even though I never got to know him personally, that was the standard in my mind as a child wanting to be a barber. At grandma's house, I had a cousin. First time I ever heard a booming system, gold teeth. He taught me how to shine. He gave me the game musically. Petey Pablo, CeeLo, Andre 3000, anybody that could rap and sing and mix it all together into one to be unique, man, they inspired me. Those are my top three. I put Petey Pablo, CeeLo, Andre 3000 up against any three you can want, and I can put the music behind my logic to say, I bet you $100 your favorite can't do this.
Yeah, so, I agree with those three.
You see what I'm saying, man? So it's like we all got them inspirations, but who real enough to say, man, it was my big brother, it was my daddy, it was not fame, but real life. So I think that's a genuine question that it make us all reflect, and it should be five, because whether we know it or not, we five different people. Who I am as an artist is a persona. Who I am as a father, who I am at work, who I am in every different form. There has to be a unique inspiration to inspire you to set a standard or a bar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and listen, I forgot one. I really forgot one. Victor Bullock. Victor Bullock was a high school coach I had. He was a basketball coach. He was the teacher at the school that he graduated from college. He played football at UNC. He had a record for the most interceptions in 1 year. And when he came to my school, he was smooth. He was just a smooth nigga, man. And to this day, coach still smooth. But he had a BMW. He wore slacks and suits and ties every day. He was the teacher that all the young girls was in love with. Coach Bullock, all the young girls had a crush on Coach Bullock, and all the adult teachers was in love with him, the females. And I could just remember hearing female teachers talk about him. You see Coach Bullock, what he had on today? And he was so fucking smooth. And I can remember saying, yo, I'm going to play basketball so I can be around him. Just looking at him every day, just like, I'm going to play basketball so I can be around him. And I remember going out for the team, making the team, and he lived in Henderson and I lived in Warrenton, so he had to go past my house to get home. So I was like, can I get a ride home? He was like, yeah, I got you. Don't worry about it. So I can remember trying to do my little test with him, and we was in the car. We was pumping gas, and it was cold, and this woman walked by. She had a real fat ass, and I said, man, she got a fat ass. And he grabbed me by the neck and jacked me up. He said, don't you never cuss around me again, boy. You think I'm your friend? You think I'm cool with you, boy? You better not never cuss around me. And that shit made me cry.
Come on.
Now, I'm talking about, I'm 14, 15 years old. Man grabbed me and said, don't you never fucking cuss around me, boy. And the same impact in how smooth he was, how cool he was, how I wanted to be just like him. When he grabbed me up and jacked me up like that and said, don't you never cuss around me, boy. And all I said was ass. And that's what made me want to be a teacher. I wanted to be just like him. I wanted to be him. And I can always remember when I started teaching, I bought me a CLS 550 Benz, and I wore slacks and suits every day. And I walked around the fucking school, and I knew all the young girls had a crush on me. Mr. Clark, you're so handsome. And all the older women, and I became him. I wanted to be him. And I ravished, and that's one of the things that made me able to deal with teaching when I was like, man, this ain't really for no black man, because I don't really think no black man need to be no teacher. If it is, he got to be in some shit like Umar in his own setting. I felt like I was a man and like a bitch in there teaching lies, and you know what I'm saying? But that's what kept me, because I walked around wanting to be him. When I met him, all my dreams of going pro stopped. I wanted to be him. So that's a shout out to Coach Bullock. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Coach Bullock. You know what I'm saying? I love you, man. Real talk.
Man, that's real. Let me say this about inspiration, and it's a powerful thing because the question is more powerful than the answer. Some people ain't never really ever thought about who really impacted you to shape the ideas of yourself. Man, I think that's a powerful question. Um, I got addicted to bass when I was about 13. And this real talk, man. Um, when you be inspired by somebody, and I'm talking about no matter what level you on right now, if I'm inspired by you, brother, to say, man, this guy's intelligent, man, I wanna get on here and talk like Javonne. It's two things that got deciphered through a filter. One, I got to be honest that I admire where you at. Two, I got to have a self-reflection to see that I can see myself in that position in my own likeness. Now, here's where something happened. If I see myself in that likeness, the admiration turns into inspiration and motivation. And I study you and I watch what you do, and I do it in my own way to achieve and set my own goals. But if I can't see myself or don't have the confidence or belief, and I have doubts, why would somebody watch me? Man, ain't nobody gonna want to hear me talk. Then it turns into jealousy.
Jealousy.
And then it turns into envy because I can't see myself being the things that I admire. So I must put the light out and hate the light in my mind, because as much as what you are begins to remind me about what I ain't.
Cook, man. Preach, preach, preach.
So that's when the scale gets to going about inspiration, motivation, jealousy, and envy. So I'm saying at 13, I understood this. My cousin picked me up from grandma's house. He had a cutlass. He hooked up a system. And I remember we rode around to every project in Charlotte, and he was booming, playing Magic Mike and Nemesis. I want your bass. Yeah, 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 yeah. And everybody was looking because we were just shaking windows. And I was like 13 looking out the window. And I said, God,
I want a car with some bass.
So when I got my first car, my best friend to this day, Mike, he 5 years older than me. All I was in the parking lot of the apartment complex. In there, he said, "Man, what you doing?" I said, "I'm trying to make my car boom." He said, "I'll help you out. Look good." Been my best friend to this day, 34 years later, from hooking up my system, trying to help me boom, because I wanted to be like my cousin and get that feeling of that bass, right? So my cousin was one of the ones who could go to Freeman's Car Stereo, and he had a state-of-the-art type of system. Now he got a 73 Caprice priced down like it ain't never been seen before. I'm talking about wow. But because he's spending big money, I got to go in the shop. And he's showing me what he bought. You got to have a crossover. You got to have some subs. You got to have 2 amps. He say the trick is you got to get you some mids, some 6x9 3-ways that boom and sound good with the bass, and get some highs. So I'm looking at it, understanding what really matters. But I know I ain't got no money. I'm just a 16-year-old that work at McDonald's and cut hair. But I wanted to be like my cousin because I had to have my own form of bass. And my cousin them had a dope house. They dead and gone. So I ain't snitching on them. And every now and again, people become pawn things. And I don't even know how they know. They say, "Boy, I got something over here for you." Gave me my very first system for $25. 2 amps, 2 amps, some 12s, kickers, Rastafari gate, and man, I was in the game.
Wow, boy, that shit like that brought tears to my eyes. Cuzzo hooked you up for 25 and he knew you wanted it.
And the dope boys was trying to figure out how Trab booming harder than we can afford. So it taught me when you aspire and you admire, but you see yourself booming, it'll come to you right. Because you see yourself. So I got addicted to that bass. And it always made a way to teach me to understand what that bass was about, man. So I give my cousin credit, regardless of how he got it, regardless of which way he went. When I felt and saw what that bass do to your soul in a whole neighborhood, boy.
You know, Trav, it's funny how you know, you always got some wonderful stories that's got some real points to it. Since we're talking about this, I'm gonna talk about the flip side of it that men never talk about. There were some negative influences that I think sometimes as men we don't want to admit that we were influenced negatively. I remember my freshman year, them boys in the hood got everything for profit. 5 on the morning, selling on the profit. Where you going to get G's in them? I went and got me a pound of reefer with my refund check. I'm serious. Yeah. I wanted to sell some dope, man. Listen, when that goddamn T.I. and that Jeezy and that Yo Gotti and that Gucci era, that's all I'm listening to. You know what I'm saying? Shout it low, I come through, and I'm listening to nothing but trap music. I went and got me a pound of reefer. I said, I'm finna make some money. And I had a scholarship, academic scholarship, Pell Grant, then took my student loan. I'm sitting on about 20 bands and don't need to sell. I just the music's so good. Hey, Snowman, you know what I'm saying? I said, I'm going to get me some dope. You know what I'm saying? And I started selling reefer. And it's funny because I started selling reefer and got good at it. You know, you're on a college campus. So much so that I was making so money, I said, fuck it. I done dropped out of school, went and got me an apartment, stopped playing football and everything. Went and got me some powders. That's what a lot of people don't know, but my friends know this. I never talk about this. It's funny because I never talk about this, right? So we'll talk about it tonight since we just freestyling. And I want you to give your account. So I didn't, you know what I'm saying, hurt my foot my junior year. And instead of getting back eligible, going to work out, everybody like, boy, why you ain't at the training room getting treatment? I'm selling reefer. You know, moved off campus, got me a whip, got me a nice apartment, and I'm selling reefer. And where I'm at, so many people would start asking me for cocaine. So I went and hollered at my man and got some cocaine, right? I'm so dumb. I don't know. Somebody come said, let me get an 8-ball. I knew an eighth of reefer was 3.5. I asked him, how much is an 8-ball of cocaine? I don't know. It's the same weight. The eighth is an eighth. A quarter is a quarter. Yeah. So I had to tell my man, hey, how much I supposed to sell this shit for? You know what I'm saying? And long story short, I end up getting robbed. Young college boy in the hood, selling reefer and cocaine, and got to the point where so many people from the inner city would come by and ask me for cocaine. I would be like, I ain't got it. I don't fuck around. But it was an old head over there that I used to sell it to because he was cool with me. And so he would they would go knock on his door to get me. So they would give him his money and he would get it from me. And I guess they just got tired of me. Like, nigga, you not gonna be in our hood with this product and not gonna sell us none. And I never forget, one day I got a knock on the door and I went to the door. I had my gun in my hand and I opened the door and I seen dude. I said, man, I ain't got shit. Like tried to play little dude. And as soon as I said that, 3 dudes walked around the corner, shotguns in my face. Back up, big man. Man, motherfucker pushed me back in the house, took my shit, tied me up, take my girlfriend at the time up. And they locked me in one bathroom and locked her in the bedroom across the hall and tied a rope to it. And we in that bitch can't get out. I'm pulling on the door and it's making her door closes. And I'm in this bitch like a damn near 2 days until my homeboy just came by looking for me and heard us pulling on the door. They locked the door and everything when they left. He had to kick the door in. And man, let me tell you something, and I don't want to get too long when I called my older brother. He was in the streets, and he came down and he said, well, you got to do something about that, little bro. And I said, well, what I got to do? Because, you know, I'm just selling weed and cocaine because I want to be like Jesus, want to sell something. He said, man, they robbed you with no mask on. They going to rob you every week because they think you're a punk. So, you know, I never forget, man. I went and got the rifle, and I'm sitting in the woods, and I knew exactly what it was. And, you know, I done hunted deer and everything, and I got them in the scope for about 3 nights straight. My brother like, what you gonna do? He like, you got to
Your
handle
brother
this.
got that
My
bullshit.
brother,
Ain't
he's serious. My older brother, my middle brother, he done been to
right.
prison and everything. He's serious. And when I couldn't find myself to kill them guys, you know what my brother told me? He looked me down. He said, nigga, you scared. You need to go to church tomorrow. That's what my brother told me, because he knew me. He said, you scared. You need to go to church tomorrow, little bro. I got up, went to church. Man, fucked around and said, if you want to get saved, come on down. Boy, I was so scared. I came on down and got saved. I went home, threw all my reefer away, threw all my cocaine away, and I ain't never fucked with that shit since. But the reason I went to church is because I wanted to kill him so bad. And I ain't have it in me to kill him. And my brother said, boy, go to church. You if you ain't ready to retaliate with somebody rob you with no mask on, this ain't for you. And man, you know, it's funny how life goes. I went to church, and that's where I met my wife at, man. It's an amazing thing how life, it ain't no wrong decisions. You just living, and things happen. But I literally, that's my first time telling that story. So I remember I was at homecoming. My man IB was with me. My man Pipe, Mike, some of my guys had came to fuck with me, my little cookout crew, and we was at homecoming. And you know, I'm always low life motherfuckers out here selling dope, want to do this and do that. And so we at homecoming, and I got my boys that didn't go to college with me, and they get to talking. Grub, you remember you used to have this and that, and they looking at me like, what? Like what? You know what I'm saying? And it's almost a period in my life I don't even speak on, man, that I ain't even proud of. But my homies in college will tell you, I became the goddamn man in a way, you know what I'm saying? But it was sheltered because it was through a college campus. All my clientele was through college, doctors, professors. It had got a little umbrella until I got hot known in the city. And them motherfuckers came and robbed my black ass. But that's just a quick story. I don't know how quick it was. Can you speak on a situation where you know you have been easily influenced that wasn't on the good side? Because sometimes we act like, I tell the cats all the time, man, stop acting like you, nigga, you easily influenced, man. I was too. Can you think of something like that?
No, I can't say I could think of something like that, but I'm saying influence is real. I've been influenced by somewhat different spectrums of me, but I had to fight through it to find who I was in that influence. And I give you an example. Like I say, like that same cousin. He taught me how to shine. It's 3 things a young man want or influenced by: money, power, and respect.
Yeah.
And it's many ways to go about to getting the 3. But sometimes your influence or who you admire or inspire to be like show you the path. But like I say, my cousin, man, I saw what it felt like to be out on the weekend and control the whole parking lot when everybody turn their head and you get out your car and you got a glow on you. Like I experienced that being in that. I wanted that. I had to have that. But I'm thankful. I say this humbly. I'm thankful that I had enough people holding me down and giving me balance to know that I can get there. I just got to get it my way.
It's
so
like
just in the most simplest thing, like a car. And I'm this real game, this real life shit. I got my first job at McDonald's. My daddy say, hey, put your check in the bank. And I done told the story before. Cut hair, save your money. Just like any young 15, 16-year-old worker, I want to buy shoes, I want to buy clothes, but he gave me some discipline. I'm calling my grandmama. I'm working. He won't let me spend my check. He don't give a fuck. He holding it down. I said what I said. That's what a lot of men got to understand today. But long story short, I checked my account. I had $4,000 before I knew it. My same cousin who had done got cars piped out, just me being me, a young kid who smart, sports, doing the right thing, being real enough to know that anybody who talked to me can feel that. Man say, boy, I like you, Trab. Man, I got some old paint. I'll paint your car for $200. and I put some metal flake in it. You for real? Yeah, yeah. Matter of fact, go over there and holler at my boy and get you some rims. I go over there, hey man, old boy talk good for you. Give me $800, man. I give you rims and tires, 14-inch spokes. So now it's all coming together in my mind, but I'm a child who just got a vision of myself of what I'm inspired by. Because I knew that I was worth the shine. I knew I wasn't trying to go in line with everybody or who thought the only way you could shine is sell dope. The only way you could shine is be crooked. So along the way, I saw people who wanted money, power, and respect. And all due respect, just like you. But at grandma's house, I had cousins who had friends that was robbers, and they told me the criteria of somebody who getting robbed, somebody who want money, power, and respect, but they don't understand the lane they going to get it in. See, a dope game mind can be determined by survival. He ain't doing this shit for real. He ain't ready to die for it. So yeah, he getting money, but let's see if he really for real. He ain't for real. So you was always subject. When I'm talking to grandma and them, at grandma and them house, these real people who in pain, who know I ain't got shit to live for. I want to take it from somebody who playing like they know my pain. So that became real. So I was inspired by that to know I ain't built for that. I ain't gonna kill nothing. I ain't gonna let nothing die.
Yeah.
So stay out of the lion's den. It taught me to identify what is the lion's dens. And so, like you say, I'm thankful and humble enough to say, man, I ain't got no war stories about where I was in that sense. And even if I took steps toward that way, man, people respect you when you're genuine enough to know this ain't your lane, man. Get back, Trab. Get back, Trab.
My upbringing was like that, you know. That's Claire May's son, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
to the extent that my mom and my grandma owned a liquor house, so she was kind of like big mama of the whole county. And then my mama kind of took that title over just by being her daughter. So anytime I would try to do something, motherfuckers be like, "That's Claire May's son, boy. Get your ass home, Claire. Tell Claire May on your goddamn ass." My mama was known, and motherfuckers knew if they gave me a pack, my mama would kill you or call the police on you. like it wasn't no you gonna go to jail fucking with me. You know what I'm saying? My mama won't happen that shit. So that's what kept me out of the streets when I was young. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, let's caveat for a second. I want to talk about some. I want to know what you think about this. Women's intuition. Is that a real thing, man? I made a post today. This woman said, somebody asked her, talking to the sister, she said somebody asked her, why do women have children by men that just such no good motherfuckers sometimes, right? And she said, number one, it's looking for love, and number two, being told that ain't nothing wrong with helping get a man on his feet. And I said, sister, that makes sense. I said, but come on, what? I said, what about women's intuition? And she said, yeah, we women got intuition. And I said, I think y'all use women's intuition as a caveat to say, I think you're cheating. Meaning this, I don't think a woman come at you with women's intuition until she cheating. And because she cheating, she figure, well, shit, he got to be cheating if I'm cheating. So she starts searching and checking. Women's intuition sometimes only kick in. I'm like, why don't kick in when you're choosing a father for your children or how to parent? Or do you think that's a thing? You always got a different aspect.
I think it's a thing, but it's a game in a sense, and sometimes it could hide accountability. Let's just say my intuition says, or my calculation says, same thing. Can you calculate what's finna happen, or can you see what's happening down the road? That becomes your intuition. So I know that if You don't give her water. Mother Earth, she's earth. She's the ground. Things come out of her. She hold you down. That's where you put your roots at. See how that works? If you don't water her and give her what she needs security in her mind. She needs affirmation of her virtue. If you don't give her that, I got an intuition that the smallest drop of water can make her goddamn. See how that works?
Yeah,
So
some nigga can come in and what you says, put a drop of sweat on her.
Put a drop of sweat on her and she soak it up. Oh, so I can look at a person and if you pay attention enough, your intuition becomes right in front of you. You can see it. You're a psychic. My intuition tells me if you pay attention enough, you can see what she ain't getting. You can see what he ain't getting. You can see what the soul needs. And if it ain't gave in the right order or manner, put some money on it. Watch how it comes.
You know what, man? I might want to change my stance on it because as you explain that, I got a saying, and I always say you already know. And it's like
that's it.
Yeah,
right now.
It's like I say you already know. It's like I believe sometimes we ignore what we already know, but we already know. It's like you know that woman don't like you. You know that man don't like you. You know he ain't gonna be a good father. You already know. It's like if you have to ask a question, it's because you asking because you already know.
Y'all in a spot where for the past 5 months, for the past month, it don't take long to break a cycle. He come home, you come home. Ain't nothing to say. Ain't no real conversation. Ain't no chance where y'all connecting.
You already know.
You already know. I know. Some telling me. And this ain't about her. This about him too. Man, some telling me. You goddamn right, some telling you. The
What
very
you said,
same thing.
That's that number one. Some telling me. You already know, motherfucker, you ain't been doing right.
you see what I'm saying? But we'll play games. That's why I say it's a game. Everything is a game. Everything ain't good or bad or right or wrong. It's about how you kick the ball and move the ball. If intuition is a real thing, to say I have a perceived notion of what's to come, then that's like you say, this ain't no deep shit. This mathematics. If it's algebra, it switches to the same thing. X plus Z equals Y. You see X and you see Z, but you acting like you don't know why. You know why.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know why, sit down and think about why. Once you figure out why, X and Z become clear. Damn, it ain't even deep. So if you don't want to figure out the equation, I got an intuition. Yeah.
Wow, like you say, you're trying to avoid the accountability of what you ain't been doing. X plus Z equals Y. You already know, goddamn why. You already know why.
You already know.
Yeah. And you know,
let me say this. My bad.
No, go ahead.
And even in these equations, take right and wrong out of it. Take right and wrong out of it. Man, why you don't sit down on the couch no more and talk and watch a movie and rub feet, the things that you do? Why? And it could be, like I say, the question is more powerful than the answer. Take right and wrong out. Man, I got tired of coming home feeling like don't nobody even care when I walk through the door. That's a logical reason to feel a certain type of way. Mm-hmm. So it ain't about being right or wrong, but when you talk to her, well, it was like every time you came home, you had like you was aggravated. So I just left you alone. So you mean to tell me the why is because we both just been bullshitting and had too much pride to say what's really wrong with you? Mm. Oh. Well, what you want to watch? And it's over.
You know what? It's just that simple. It's like, man, when you said that shit, I got an epiphany. Like my grandfather used to say, don't have a TV in the bedroom because a TV in the bedroom stop you from communicating. It's times in my marriage, like you said, just the simplicity of if somebody be vulnerable. You know, like you said, I felt like every time I come in the house, I'm not appreciated. And she said, well, every time you come in the house, you seem aggravated. And he said, that's because at my job, this, that, and the other. And she said, well, I didn't want to. And then, like you said, it's over. Now we back to grooving. You know what I'm saying? We back to grooving. It's just that simple. People make life so much more hard than it really is when life is really simple, man. And you already know what time it is, no matter what's going on.
You already know. You know why y'all ain't talking. No matter who it is, whether it's you and your brother, you and your mama, you know why. Like I said, and this goes to say, ain't nobody above the bullshit. But the most powerful part to this phrase is, but it'll make you better if you real enough to deal. Everybody can't deal with some shit. Yeah. And it can be simple shit they can't deal with.
I had a situation, quick story, and it's amazing what I went through. I got a guy that work on cars, right?
Yeah.
And he really, really was a skilled mechanic at one time. But he did so much drugs that, you know, we just trust him for shit like brakes, alternators, shit that you would pay the dealership $700-800 for. He gonna do it for $100 or less. You know what I'm saying? So I would always tell him, I said, man, you know, I want to send people to you. And I just send people to him. He do good work. And I said, I want to send people to you. It's not like he don't do good work. People be like, man, I trusted him on this. He fixed my Benz. Would have cost me $4,000. But they called me back a couple of days later. Hey, man, your mechanic guy called me, asked me to borrow some money, said that if I look out for him next time my car break down, he'll work on it for free. And that's some embarrassing shit.
Yeah.
And I would always call him, man, stop doing that to people. I'm going to stop turning you on to people, man. Stop doing that to people. And he was like, man, I said, man, imagine you tell somebody you're going to work on their car for free next time if they let you borrow $50. And next time you had to rebuild a goddamn engine or something. You know what I'm saying? So he used to do me like that. And I used to look out for him. And then the next time I need my brakes changed or something, I would be like, shit. And he'd be like, well, you know, I got you free this time. I still give him a dub or something, you know, looking out, just knowing he got to have it. Well, I let him change my back brake drums not too long ago. On my wife's car, like just change all four of them, the drums and he did it, everything good. A couple of days later, the handbrake started acting up. And I said, damn, I went to YouTube and everything that YouTube was saying, it looked like that was it.
Yeah.
Back brake drum, the cord from the handbrake goes to the back brake drum. You pull it up, it tightens the cord, and the motherfucking make the car sit on the hill. So my wife said, it seemed like my handbrake losing its energy. You call Mike. I said, nah, Chris, I'm going to take it to the goddamn dealership because a real spot. Because from what I'm looking at, it seemed like it's something he fucked up. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to let him try to fix his mistake. So I go down there. They're like, well, this is $100 to take the tires off. I'm like, okay, take the tires off. They take the tires off, go in the little rotor and everything. And the thing that connects the fucking string to the brake, the cord to the brake is missing. It's a thing that going in, you got to tighten it up a certain that motherfucker missing, totally missing. So I call him. I say, hey, man, the guy up here, no, ain't no way in the hell. He making all these excuses. The car, it wouldn't have worked one day, blah, 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 blah. I said, man, I'm looking at the thing. So he look in his toolbox. Man, I'm sorry. Your thing right here. I'm sorry, man. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. So I go to get it. When I get the guy that work on the car, he said, look, man, I'm going to tell you, I'm a professional. You got to buy a whole nother brake kit because I ain't putting no shit back in that he done had in his toolbox. So I go pay $65 for a new brake kit, $100 for him to look at it. Long story short, I said, how much this gonna be, man? $320, right? So I go, I don't need the piece, but I want to look him in his eye. I want to look him in his eye. That's just how I am as a master teacher. I wanted to fuck him up, tell you the truth. I wanted to fuck him up. But I'm not like that. So I feel like I want to hurt you a different way. Just by looking you in your eye and say, man, how you gonna do that? You rushing and my wife and kid riding around in that. And it's my mistake for even fucking with you on that. But I trust you for something simple as brakes. He was just rushing. And then I said, man, fucking with that shit. And he lied. I don't fuck with no shit. I said, well, I don't give a fuck if you're drinking lemonade when you're doing the job.
Yeah.
You're slipping. And he said,
man, go ahead.
Now he started crying like a baby, man. I said, chill out, man. He said, man, it just hurts so bad to be caught in this shit. He's like, man, I love you. You a good guy, man. You done turned me on the business. You always look out. My wife love you. You look out for my family. He said, man, this shit stings so bad. And I won't even fussing. I would just but I knew just me seeing him and he saying he's sorry. And I showed him bill. I said, man, sorry, don't pay this damn $325, bro. I said, I can't fuck with you no more, man. You know what I'm saying? And boy, he cried and he cried and he cried and he cried. And I told that story to say, when you talk about that accountability, man, when that shit hits you in the face that you're wrong and you know you're wrong, man, I might not bust out crying, but Trav, that's why I don't lie. Those moments right there, you wrong and you know you're wrong, and somebody got to tell you about your motherfucking self.
Come on,
as a man, Trav, that shit cuts me to the core, bro. I be wanting to cry. That's one of the things I say blameless. I ain't never stole from my partners. I ain't never stole out of store. I ain't never fucked nobody's wife, none of my homeboys, girls. I feel like I'm flawless, man. When I say flawless, I don't mean flawless, but I ain't never done nothing to nobody, bro. Now, as far as selling a little weed and powder, I can say that's my opinion. I don't look at, but I ain't never done nothing to nobody, man. But when I used to lie to women, man, I can't even remember the motherfucking lies I used to tell. A woman be like, that must have been your other woman you was with. And I said all that to say, man, I understand the wanting to hide the accountability with the intuition. But I don't know why I told all that, but it's just I watched a man cry, man, like a baby. Because I showed him where he was wrong at.
Yeah.
And he said, man, I know I had to change, man. And I'm hooked on this shit so bad. He said, man, I never thought my habit would fuck with my skill. And I said, man, it happens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a powerful story, man. And I've experienced that story. And one thing I learned about being in them situations is through different stages of my life, if I could afford to handle it with no risk, I would have.
Yeah.
So the fact that it was times I had to make a decision, well, like I tell stories about Mechanic Mike. Well, I had to go to Mechanic Mike.
It's not the same thing.
Hey, look. But as much as I understood my position, I also knew Mike respected me and we had a level of respect. But at the same time, what's the difference between a shade tree and going to the dealership? The difference ain't necessarily skill. The difference is guarantee.
No guarantee.
See, at the dealership, they can guarantee that you won't deal with this when you leave. And if you do, the guarantee stands. Mechanic Mike can't give you a guarantee. He can only give you a situation of his best effort. So the real accountability that I've been in this is, if you expect a fish to climb a tree, then I know what I was getting. So now, and I say this to any man or any woman who in position. This is why I say understanding is key. We think, well, that don't matter. If you depending on something, then you owe your all to understand what it is and how it works so you can know your position in it. So as a man, if I go to Mechanic Mike, I got an understanding of what's going on, and I'm in there because I know this come with a risk and no guarantee. So I'm paying attention enough to know that I can dance, but I ain't no dancer. Mechanic Mike like to get down on the ground and dance. I don't really feel too comfortable under a car. It ain't that I don't know what's going on. It's that he like to dance and I don't. But I'm paying attention and I'm inspiring him to believe in himself, to minimize whatever thing he got going on. I'm going to keep him in a space to remind him, hey, I believe in you, Mike. Come on, Mike. You the man.
And see, I walked off and went in the house.
Yeah, hey, look, but
I be watching them like, what about that screw right there?
Yeah. But if you real enough, he understand that, and that can be respectful too. I got to pay attention because I know I'm taking a risk with no guarantee. But when he get me, like I say, yeah, we're gonna feel how we feel, but also you got to ask yourself this too. How many times can we be honest enough to know that if I took it to the dealership, it was gonna cost me $800? Mechanic Mike gonna do it for 70. How many of us real enough to really show him the appreciation, to give him at least half of what he did to save you, to put you in a situation where you can keep rolling? But a lot of us ain't gonna have the integrity to give him really his worth in gratefulness. We'll give him the 70 knowing we just saved $900 and look at him and he know what he saved you, and we'll still say, man, I gave you what you asked for. Maybe he didn't know what he was worth. Pay him what he worth.
Yeah, you know, it's fun. It's funny that we talking about that because whenever I ask him, I said, what I owe you, he always said, just give me what you think you owe me. And I would always say, look, man, I can give you $5. What do you charge for doing this? And he would never have the confidence just to say what he wanted. And I believe because he had a habit, like he would never have, like, say, for example, if I didn't look some up, kind of, this is how I look at stuff. I know with a jack leg, he's not a computer. So he know, like you said, he know that air plus gas and a spark creates fire. That's what make a car move. You know what I'm saying? So talking to him, he is assessing it step by step like a body. If it ain't this, it's gonna be this. If it ain't this, it's this. Let's fix the cheapest thing first. See do that fix it. If that don't work, it's gonna be this. So he really know what he talking about. So we will always fix the cheapest thing first, and then we would go forward. And he would always get it done. And I would tell people, look, you might fix the cheapest thing first. You might spend $35 for some, $40 for something, and had to pay him $10 to put it in. And then if that don't fix it, so I would tell people. But long story short, if it's something, I looked it up. I said, man, shit, I'm gonna have to pay $2,000-$3,000 for this. I said, what I owe you. And this is when I was trusting him to do major stuff. He said, man, give me $100. I give him $300. I will always give him way more than he asked for because I know I didn't save like crazy. And but like you said, that situation of the accountability of I should have had the money saved up to take my car to the dealership to get the guarantee. What fucked me up this time was I had went and we was together. He had asked me for a ride. He was like, what you about to do? I said, I'm about to go take my car to get my brakes done. And I had said I won't fucking with him no more. And he's like, man, why you don't let me do the brakes? I can do the brakes. That's real simple. You know what I'm saying? I said, I know you can. He was like, man, let me get that money. And I was like, well, the reason I won't gonna fuck with you because I told you what I told you last time. He would do shit like text me, got any work? And I would say, hey, man, don't ask me, do I got any work? That's like asking me, is my car fucked up? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, you just sat there needed some money and said, I'm gonna call everybody that I didn't work with. And he'll text everybody. You got any work for me? And it's like I say, man, when you do that, you jinxing people's minds. Because if they car mess up a couple of days later, they gonna feel a certain way. Yeah. So I had told him I won't fucking with. I said, man, if you ever text me, got any work again, I ain't fucking with you no more. I'm gonna be your friend and hook out, but I ain't fucking with you on the car. So he texted me, you got any work? And I said, I told you I ain't fucking with you no more. But I know when them drugs hitting him, he can't have it. So this was a situation where I literally won't go fuck with him. I was willing to pay the brake man $300 and some dollars. And then I paid him $100 and ended up having to repay it again. But yeah, man, you said something that's so real. Who respects that man's craft enough to say, okay, he charging me $20, but I know I would have paid $600. Let me give this man a couple of $100. Who does that? Not a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Man, you just said something about he asks you or tell you, give me what you got, right? And I learned this lesson, man, a couple years ago, and it's real. And it was about accountability at the end of this. I had a friend that had a situation, and that situation could have helped both of us, but I knew I had to run the lead. And I needed it. I ain't gonna lie. I needed this, man. So I ran the play, and I ran it good in a giftful way that I know how to run it. And at the end, I say, man, yeah. So he say, what I owe you? I say, give me, man, just give me what, just give me whatever. I know he know I ran the play. And he gave me what he gave me. And I got out the car and felt some type of way, you know? But then I had to look at it, I say, well, he brought the play. Maybe he needed to play. He was in a situation. And there's been in times where I was needing to play and he understood. So I went through my own consciousness. But I talked to my big brother Wood about it. And my big brother Wood is a business minded. And he always tell me, he say, Trab, you a sincere guy. Man, you got a value. Anything sell, but nothing won't. Your heart is bigger than your wallet. And that ain't how it's supposed to be, man. He said, man, you got to put a value on what you do. He said, but you told that man, give him what you want. He gave you what he wanted to give you. You can't put that on him. You got to change your value and understand your value enough to say what you worth to a man. He said, so get out your feelings. You said that. And until you understand you got a value, you name your price and you name your value. But don't you blame another man for doing what you said. And man, that hit me in the chest. It made me be accountable.
You figured common sense wise, you made the play. Either he gonna shoot me half or he gonna shoot me a certain percentage where I know I'm gonna be good.
Yeah,
he ain't gonna give me $200.
Yeah, and I was, but it was like, damn, expectations is the seed of disappointment. And as a man, if I don't state where I stand, where I feel, and I leave it up in the air for expectations, I'm saying this on any level, then I give everybody the seed to disappoint me. So I took that lesson. Ain't been too long ago as a man. Anytime I do something, even if I'm gonna do it for free, I make it understood. Well, ain't no expectation that we're gonna have disappointment in the end. So that's a lesson that we got to give and receive. Because, like you say, I got a good heart. I got a genuine heart. I was cultivated into be everything that I want. I saw how I could be it to get it. I ain't think about how much it costs to get it. I thought about what do I got to be to get that, to do that. And when you think like that, man, you'd be surprised how much money becomes not that important. You understand? Not to say that it ain't important, I know what you mean. But you really get to know how less it is important. When I realized I wanted a haircut every 2 days, I took money off when I said I got to be a barber.
Yeah, you wanted to be sharp.
You see what I'm saying, man? So just take that. But when you come from that, love, and I'm saying love in the context of it, when I give without the expectations of nothing in return, that's a
Mhm,
gift. When you got a
mhm.
gift, you become the gift. Sometimes, right now, it's somebody haircuts cost $30. I ain't no barber, but if my man and his son got a wedding and $60 is hard on them, and they know enough and be real enough with me to say, "Hey, Trab, will you cut my hair?" Man, that hero training session we about to have.
Say you finna bless him for free, but when you finish talking to him, both of y'all gonna be
Man,
better
they finna
men.
walk down the aisle at somebody else's wedding or their own. Like, damn. So
Yeah,
that's worth more than anything they could pay me or I could think. And if it's real and he even in the situation and he know it,
he gonna
he
throw
know the
you a
value.
dub. He gonna throw
Yeah.
you a dub. Hey man, I ain't had 60, but bro, I had 15. That's all I had. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. I think the show came to a very good stopping point, man. I really like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, the value of knowing you just bless somebody and drop some jewels on somebody feels better sometimes than the money. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's a moment like my wife got a client. She's a beautiful older lady. My wife don't even do hair no more. You know what I'm saying? My wife was known for sew-ins and cuts, but she always do this lady hair, and it's something they got, and it's just something they got. And I fucked around and came in the garage one day accidentally, and I saw the lady got a big ass bald spot in the middle of her head. That can't nobody goddamn sew that hair around that goddamn
Yeah.
bald spot like my wife. And I finally asked my wife, the lady was so shocked that I finally asked my wife, I said, you do that for her out of love, don't you? She was like, yeah. I know can't nobody goddamn hook that bald spot up like me. And I fucked around and she fucked around and told me the lady paid her through PayPal, and she was like, go in my PayPal, because my wife don't know how to do shit with paper. She's like, go in my PayPal and get that money and transfer it to my account for me. And when I seen what that lady paid her, I said, okay, you're doing it for love, but that lady putting a fucking blessing on you for
You
that.
feel what I'm saying,
Yeah,
man?
she putting a strong. I know what my wife used to charge, and you used to couldn't get in her chair unless you had a certain amount. And that lady is paying her double. So I
Come
was like,
on,
you know what I'm saying? I was like, did you know? So I asked her, I said, God damn, she done paid you double. She was like, she give me that double and a tip every time. I said, well, did you tell her you don't do? She was like, no, I just hook her up because I know can't nobody hit that ball spot like me. And the lady is appreciative because she know my wife is said that's past. She's past that now. Not that doing hair is bad, but my wife says she did hair as a fallback because she didn't think she was smart growing up. She wanted to go to college, but she didn't think she was smart.
yeah.
So she made a career out of it. Now she's working on her PhD. So hair is in her past. But she just do that for that lady. And that lady blesses her very, very fucking well. So sometimes, like you said, man, to choose to do something because you can is the blessing in itself. Wrap us up, man.